everybody doing? Happy Saturday. Let me know if you guys can all hear me okay, because it is Mercury retrograde and things get sticky. So I just want to make sure everybody can hear me okay before we get started. Hey Bubbles, how are you? Let me pop out the chat so I can see better. Hey Maddie, how are you? Make sure you guys vote in the poll so we know who we're starting with. And if anybody is watching and you are not subscribed, all you have to do is subscribe to be able to participate. I put all of my lives on subscribers only because otherwise we get inundated with bots. So I am feeling almost 100% better. So thank you. Hey Nania, hey Manolo, hey Hondro. I'll do a separate reading on Chloe and Quavo this next week, because we already have a pretty full lineup. We'll do the Nicki questions at the end, just for anybody that was wondering about that. Plus, anyways, polls only let us choose 4 options to put up, but we did a whole dedicated Nicki live a while back, so it's just for extra questions. Hey Mimi, hey Motivated Queen. Kiddo is definitely doing better. He was sick too, so he picked up the stomach bug at his dad's house and brought it back to all of us, and that's always how it happens, because I know a lot of kids get sick at school. My kid gets sick at his dad's house and always brings it home. So he hardly ever catches anything from school. Let me move this back so when I hold up any cards, it's easier to see it. So hey St. Kitts Journey, welcome. I know, that's always how it goes, right? I'm like, your dad has the immune system of an amoeba, and at this point, I'm half convinced that his dad goes around licking public doorknobs or something, because I'm like, how is your dad always sick? Every month he has some new virus. Hey Latero, welcome. I hope I pronounced that right. Hey Cal, how are you? Hey Miss Anonymous, how's everybody doing? I hope everybody had a good week. Hey Danielle, I didn't get to record as many videos as I had planned this last week because I was doing all the phone calls that I had to reschedule when I was sick. So you guys will get fed again this next week because I'll be more back on my normal schedule again. Oh, happy birthday. I love my Tauruses. Listen, and this is no offense to anybody that is, I love every sign in the zodiac except for Scorpios. And honestly, Leos with Scorpio moons scare me too. All my bad experiences with people in life, they have been Scorpios. Or a Leo with a Scorpio moon. So I'm just kind of hesitant with them. But every other sign, I'm like, y'all are cool as shit. I'm a Libra, so I can get along with everybody anyways. So, Nania, we're going to do Nicki questions at the end. So, she's on the thumbnail for a reason. I love Geminis. My favorite signs of the zodiac are Gemini, Virgo, and Sagittarius. And then after that, I would say Taurus and Pisces. And I feel like Pisces and Libras are really similar. It's just that because Libras are an air sign, if you tell us a problem, we're going to be this is how you should fix it. Whereas a Pisces is going to be how does that make you feel? So, sorry, Latero. You know how just sometimes you just have those signs where it's like, for whatever reason, it's like when you really think about it, you're like, everybody that's ever been my biggest op like had one thing in common. And I know for some people they're like, it's always an Aries or a Cancer. Mine just happens to be Scorpios and Leos with Scorpio moons. And I have a Leo rising, so I get along so good with Leos otherwise. But see, Drake is just the epitome of like why I don't get along with Scorpios very well. But listen, any sign person can be bad if they just decide to live in their shadow energy and exhibit all of the negative traits that that sign has. So, you know, just like maybe I'll meet some Scorpio who's absolutely freaking amazing and they're going to change my mind. I love Sagittariuses. Nikki's a Sagittarius. My son's a Sagittarius. And see, like Libras and Sagittariuses, we get along so good with each other. Like, I know like people try to say that Libras and Aries are like the soulmates of the zodiac, but I kind of feel like Libras and Sagittariuses are. Maybe not like soulmate in a romantic way, but like we just like create such amazing bonds with each other. Aries can be a lot for people. I feel like they're like the Energizer Bunny. They just keep going and going and going. So they can be kind of exhausting sometimes. And so, oh my God, Kel, that's so funny. And see, people always say that like Libras, they call us lion Libras. And like, first of all, that's the men and Carlos. I'm like, my number one thing that like I just like love from people is honesty and authenticity. And I don't care like what, you know, even if you're telling me something bad, at least if you're being honest with me, like I can't help but respect it. I hate people that lie. I can't stand Libra men either. I'm like, they need their own damn sign because they could not be more different than the women. It's crazy. Oh, Batty G. Well, that's why I'm saying too, like a lot of these celebrities, because they already lie about their age and how old they actually are, I'm like, are you sure that they wouldn't also lie about like the actual day they were born if they're already lying about the year they were born? Because they all practice spiritual stuff too. I mean, satanic spiritual stuff, but they use numerology, you know, to figure out everything from what day am I going to drop my album to announce my tour, because that lines up, you know, better for me. So I wouldn't be surprised if they don't all lie about their actual birthday too, because they think that that's somehow going to like give them better success in their career or something. So, well, that's the thing, because, you know, Libras, like, we get embarrassed so easy and we don't really like the spotlight very much. Like, trust me, the only reason why I'm able to do this is because I have a Sagittarius stellium and a Leo rising. If I was just didn't have all that fire in my chart and I was relying on my Libra sun and my Libra stellium, like, y'all would never fucking see me on here. So that's why I'm just like, she literally does not act at all like, you know, a normal Libra would. You know what? I was talking to somebody earlier this morning. I think they're in the chat, Hondro, and we were talking about Nicki went through a very corny stage with men. You know, because it's like she dated Safari and then she dated Meek. And we were so happy that she's out of the cornball stage when it comes to the men that she's dating, because Kenny is so the freaking opposite of them. Like, he doesn't want all the attention. He's not jealous of what she's doing. He's not a hater, you know, like Meek and Safari were. And if you really think about it, Meek and Safari are actually a lot alike, in that they both did seem to be really jealous of Nicki and the attention that she was getting. And they were like haters and not her supporters, really. And on top of it, like I was just saying too, you know, like, number one, there's women in the industry that they reach such like heights of success that there is no man that can stand next to them as far as their achievements, their money, their fame, like Rihanna and Nicki. Who the hell else would they date? Everybody is gonna look like they're a lower status than them, number one. Like, they would have to, you know, and especially like if you're gonna go off of like Rihanna being a billionaire supposedly, what, all the billionaire men are married, or what is she gonna do? Date Elon Musk? Could you imagine Rihanna or Nicki with Elon Musk? I can't. Dude, they would both eat his ass up alive. So it's like, you know, whoever that they date, they're always going to end up seeming on a career level like they haven't achieved as much as them. But add in all of the shit that Nicki went through in the industry, and you can completely understand, like, why would she want to date anybody else in this industry after the way that it's treated her and the way that people have completely turned on her. So it really does make sense that she would go back home and find somebody that knew her just for her before she became famous, and want that, because then when she gets to go home at night, she gets to live the normal life, and she's just Onika and Ken from Queens and not Nicki Minaj, the superstar. And honestly, that's got to be exhausting too. Like, if you date somebody that's in your same industry, because then you can't escape work because y'all are always freaking talking about it. Oh, what song did you write today? Oh, guess what? I signed another deal. Oh, guess what? This person wants to work with me. And then your whole relationship just becomes about business too. So, well, I mean, look at Beyonce and Jay-Z. Do you think that they really, like, even before all the problems and stuff that they had, like, just if you were to break them down as a couple, they probably just sit there and talk about business all the time. And so it's just like, it gets to that point where it's just like, how do you really have a break from that? And I wouldn't want to date somebody that, like, our whole relationship is just us constantly talking about work either. So yeah, make sure you guys like the video, please. It is a free way to help the channel. And we are so close, you guys, to 6,000 subscribers. And when we get there, we will do a giveaway. So hopefully we make it before the next live. Also, guys, we hit 1 million views. I don't know if it was sometime this week. I wasn't really checking. It was just when I went on YouTube Studio this morning to set everything up for this. I saw it in the YouTube Studio. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I literally was like about to cry, because when I really first started, I thought maybe if like 10 people watched a video, it was like a big deal. And I was like, oh my God, that'd be crazy if even 100 people followed me or watched my videos. So I truly, truly am just so blown away that 1 million views and that we're almost at 6,000, and I appreciate it so much. And also, guys, Make sure that you're voting in the poll that's at the top, because we'll get into whoever you guys voted for first in just a minute, because I just wanted to get through the housekeeping stuff and give people a chance to get in here as well. And we do have, I put up early access. There is May special discounted appointments. The link is pinned at the top, and then it's also in my Instagram stories. But there is super discounted 15, 20 minute, and 30 minute readings. So 15-minute readings are $35. It's $45 for 20 minutes and $55 for 30 minutes. So it's on the site under May special discounted appointments, or the direct link is at the top. But there is limited space available, so if you wanted to get in for May, book sooner than later, and you can book as many of those appointments as you want to. So thank you guys. You guys are the ones that made that happen, so thank you. Congratulations to all of us. So as always, guys, we will go in order and put question in front of your questions so they don't get mixed in with other comments, and try to stay on topic. So I guess we're starting with Saweetie and YG. So if you have any comments or questions about them, put question in the front. Hey, Ange. First, I just wanted to say, because before I got on here, I saw the clips of her performing, and I believe she's in the Philippines. She's not pregnant, you guys. Because I saw people saying that the outfit was obviously a little bit too small for her. And listen, even when you have the flattest of stomachs, if you wear pants that are a size too small for you, you're gonna look like you have a little bit of a gut. And on top of it, let's be honest, that girl eats some wild freaking shit. And I always used to sit there when she would be doing her, look, I bought hot Cheetos and McDonald's French fries and the ramen packet on top of these oysters that I covered in hot sauce or whatever she was doing. I'm like, girl, how are you not just walking around bloated and swollen? So I think it's just caught up to her, okay? But she still looks hella good. So there was nothing, you know, that was like, oh my God, she has such a big gut or anything. She just looked like she ate a lot of salty food to me. And if she's in the Philippines too, I'm sure she's probably eating good. So, okay, let's see. Let me ask Spirit. Dude, some of the stuff that she eats, I'm like, okay, like I could see that. And then other things, like when she put ranch all over spaghetti, I was like, as an Italian person, that is such an abomination. Like I could eat salad with ranch dressing on it while I was eating spaghetti, but I could not eat spaghetti covered in ranch dressing. That's nasty. Spirit, what can you tell me about the artist known as Saweetie and YG relationship? Thank you. Yeah, she eats some weird stuff sometimes. But you know what? I did used to watch her little like mukbang videos that she would do on YouTube, and I don't like watching people eat normally, but she did used to make everything that she ate look like it was really good. And the way that girl loves her some seafood is pretty cute. Yeah, she is humble. That's why I like her. I just don't like when people Like, I don't like the overall concept of mukbangs because I always just feel such guilt when, like, food is wasted. Like, that's my big thing in the house that I'm always like, don't waste food. And, you know, people will be like, we ordered everything off the McDonald's menu. You know you are not going to eat all of that, and you're not going to save it and eat it tomorrow, and it's going to be cold and nasty, and you take a bite out of every damn thing, so it's not even like you can donate it to somebody that needs food. So it's just such a waste when people do that, in my opinion, and that's why I just don't really like watching those. So, okay, Spirit saying this is actually a genuine connection. They're talking about them having a bond over not only the music and stuff, but just like we kind of grew up with somewhat similar backgrounds and in the not most affluent areas. And I always tell you guys, I'm from the same area as Sweetie, so she just reminds me of all the girls that I grew up around. This isn't a relationship that's gonna last, but it's like something that they're both having fun with it. Spirit saying on her end, she's not entirely taking this nearly as seriously as actually he is. He's showing up as the King of Cups, so he's much more devoted and emotionally connected to this than she is. She's looking at this as more of something to have fun and pass the time because she came up as the Queen of Cups in reverse. Like, I'm not emotionally connected to this, even though I'm present in it, but I'm having fun because the Judgment card is behind her and the Sun is in front of her, talking about this is a way for her because she did go through, and she's talked about this, that she was, you know, working on her mental health and that she kind of went through a, you know, not so great or depressive period. And now she's trying to move on and find herself, find her confidence, have fun in life again. And so to her, it's like, this is my little spring, summer fling type of a thing. He's going to try to propose to her, and he's going to try to offer her, let's have a baby. She's not going for it, though. Because Spirit's saying ultimately she's going to have more opportunities coming in as far as her career goes. And that's what's going to ultimately take up all of her time and attention. And she'll use that as her excuse to move on from this situation. But this is the thing, too, that Spirit's also saying. Keep in mind, YG does not have the best track record. Anybody that knows anything is, you know, anybody that knows anything about him, it's like, okay, yeah, like you cheated on Kalani, like you just kind of hop around. And so that's why she's just like, I can have fun with you, but you're not the guy that like whose reputation precedes him in a positive way that I would want to take you seriously. And Spirit saying Sweetie does want to get married and have kids someday. And she thought that's where her relationship with Quavo was going to go, but obviously it didn't work out that way. And so for her, now that she's moved past that, it's like, I would rather wait until I'm older and really settled in my career, really like confident about the relationship that I'm in. I'm not going to just go pop out a baby because some dude wants me to, because he likes me right now. Like, I want to really have a family, and if I have to wait until I'm more like in my 30s to do that so that I can make that work, I'm fine waiting and doing that. I think she's going to kind of take more of that Nicki route, where Nicki really waited until she found her person and was at a certain place in her career, and she wasn't on a plane every other day and constantly working and in the studio so that she could really stay at home and enjoy her baby. I think Sweetie's starting to see the value in that. She's asleep in the other room right now. When I said his name, I don't know if you noticed, I kind of looked around and I was like, is Whitney going to come and start yelling? Because Whitney hates Quavo. It is hilarious. Let me see. How does Quavo feel about this relationship? Okay, let's see. How does Quavo feel about this relationship? Whitney does not like Beyonce or Quavo. I swear, if you put Beyonce's music on, she gets so aggressive and starts running around and jumping off the walls and trying to bite you. I'm like, Sasha Fierce has a negative effect on my cat, I guess. Whitney does not like the F-boys. So, let's see. What does Quavo think about this situation, and how does he feel about Saweetie at this point in general? Thank you. Not Justin Timberlake. Dude, I would run in the other room. I don't like guys that sing really high like that. Where it's like, hey, like Michael Jackson, yes, but like the way that like Robin Thicke and Justin Timberlake sing like that, I can't. It's just, it gets on my nerves. And I never understood the appeal of Justin even back like in the NSYNC days. I always thought JC was like a better singer and so much cuter. Did you guys see, there was like a viral video of Joey and Chris performing at SeaWorld. They were actually, Chris was singing all the leads and he was doing such a good job. And then his kid ran up on stage with him and he picked him up and didn't miss a beat. He was just holding his kid and going and doing all the dance moves with Joey and singing leads still. And I was like, they still are doing pretty damn good for, you know, 'cause a lot of times people lose their voice when they get older. Yeah. I mean, Justin Timberlake is one of those people that, can we talk about, you know, when we talk about the Kardashians appropriating black people, but then running back to the comfort of their whiteness. Justin Timberlake, like, originated that shit, and people don't call him out enough for it. Because he was, you know, oh, look, I'm the black guy in the white boy body. Like, that's what people used to be saying about him back in the early 2000s when he went solo and was, like, getting all this success and everything. And, oh, and Marky Mark, and let's not forget, that's somebody that was simultaneously being racist while capitalizing off of trying to be black. So, because I will never forget what Mark Wahlberg did to that poor Asian man. And apparently he was just as racist to black people too back in the day. And my family didn't really let us get into Marky Mark or pay much attention to him or listen to his music back then. Did you guys ever see him on TRL Live with Eminem, and Eminem just kept pissing him off so much? He's like, well, Carson, me and my friends over here, we're all just one big funky bunch. And he just kept like saying all this shit on purpose to like piss off Marky Mark. It was so freaking funny. And you could tell Mark wanted to just sock him in the face, but he wasn't about to like do that and get in like hella trouble. And Eminem knew like, oh, you're not gonna do anything about it. So he just kept like disrespecting him and fucking with him so bad. It was so funny. I gotta like find that clip and watch it again. Cause like every once in a while when I just need to laugh, I'll like find that on YouTube and rewatch it and just die laughing all over again. Oh, he hates when people talk about like when he used to do music. And it's like, but you chose to do it. And there's plenty of people that started off in music and then moved into acting. And even if like Ryan Gosling doesn't have a heart attack when people talk about him being on what was it, Kids Incorporated, and how he was freaking doing the Running Man on stage singing singing all those songs back then. He doesn't get mad about it. He embraces it. Like, yeah, that was what I did, but I discovered that I liked acting more, and that's the direction that I went with my career. And nobody clowns him about it because he just owns it and doesn't make a big deal about it. But like Marky Mark literally acts like, oh my God, don't talk about that. Like somebody's bringing up that like he got abused or something. It's the weirdest thing the way he is about it. So, oh yes, Eminem and 50 Cent are definitely the most underrated comedians. So as far as how Quavo feels about Saweetie, and listen, Quavo still, like Spirit just wanted us to know, Quavo has this thing that he does to any girl that he deals with when she walks away from him. So every woman, like Quavo gives them a million reasons to stop dealing with him, right? Like, look what he did to Nicki. Look what he did to Saweetie. Cheated on Saweetie all the time. But then once the girl just has enough and is like, I'm done, I'm not gonna like sit here and like waste my time with you anymore, he takes it as, oh, well, now I hate you. And he gets all like in his little petty pants and finds all these reasons to be the biggest haters towards them and throw shade at them and feel negatively about them and try to, you know, make it seem like they're the wrong one, even though it's like, because look what he did to Saweetie, but it's like, you cheated on her all the time, and then when she leaves, you're like, oh, you're not the woman I thought you were, and tried to make it seem like she was screwing around with Offset, and that's not what happened. So he feels, because this is just to give you the backstory of his energy, so this makes sense, because he's never going to look at Saweetie with any grace or love or gratitude for the time that they spent together. Like, yeah, it didn't work out and we were young and stupid, but we had some good times, or any of that. He thinks that she's just going around trying to get with all the dudes in the industry that have money, and that she's out here looking dumb and foolish because of it. And he's laughing because he's like, oh, like YG don't have the money that, you know, Saweetie thinks that he does. So if she's just trying to date for money, she's barking up the wrong tree. He thinks that she's going to come out of this looking stupid, and that he's going to play all kinds of games in her face and end up looking heartbroken and being upset that she wasted her time with YG. But that's his perspective again, because Spirit's saying he won't give anybody that no longer wants to be with him, you know, any sort of leeway, I guess you would call it. He's such a fuckboy. I'm like, Quavo, every time like I feel bad for you slightly, or think like, oh, you know, you kind of did good on that song or something, then you do something else and I'm just like, never mind, I take it back. Same thing with JT. Like, I forgave you because I thought you were changing, and then you just go right back to being the negative ass bitch that you always are. Made me feel bad for you that Uzi's about to do all this dumb shit to you, but maybe you deserve it and that's your karma because you keep dragging people's kids and babies and cancer patients and other people that you should just leave alone. So I know, right? Jay-Z definitely makes Sagittarius look bad. It's like, girl. I mean, I sat there and watched that whole Angie Martinez interview that she did with her, and I was like, oh wow, JT seems like she's grown, and that's why I started to be like, maybe I'll come around and like her. And I was like, JT, I liked you for like literally a week and a half. And now look what you did. I know, I was like, you have fun with Leslie. And I'm sorry, but Uzi, Harajuku Uzi, like, let's call him for what he was, because he literally looked like Harajuku Uzi. I posted that picture of him, and I said, he looks like a Barb, like a middle school Barb from like 2012. He's just missing his little initial purse from Justice. His little U bag, or I guess it would have been an L for Leslie. But I'm like, if you're gonna change your name or adopt an alter ego or something and be like, this is my feminine name that I'm gonna go by, why would you pick Leslie of all the names in the world? Because I know now he's trying to lean into the Leslie Chow from the Hangover thing. But Spirit's saying that wasn't the intention of it at first. He just started adopting that when everybody started dragging him for being Leslie. It was really, this is the name of my feminine alter ego. And it's like, you couldn't have picked a better girl name like Andrea or something else. Like, why Leslie? Oh my god, Lindsay, he looks like he shops at Claire's. Can you imagine he has to drag JT to the mall so they can go to Claire's so he can get some more glitter hair clips? But he could have chosen Lucy. That's what I was thinking. Like, if you're going off of the little Uzi vert, which is Lucifer, why wouldn't you then say like, oh, my feminine alter ego is named Lucy or Lucille? Because they say that Baphomet, or they call it the goat Lucy. So that's why I was like, that would have made way more sense. And if you guys didn't know, like when people sing to Lucy in these songs, like the song Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, they're singing about Lucifer. But that would have still made way more freaking sense than Leslie. And could you imagine JT, like when they want to hook up, who are you hooking up with? Uzi or Leslie? And you want me to call you Leslie in bed now? Like, no. I'm sorry, but you cannot get me to be like, oh yes, Leslie, right there, Leslie. Oh my goodness. Ugh, that's too much. So did we have any more questions about YG and Saweetie? Or are you guys ready to move on to Durk and India who was next on our poll? Oh my god. I know, right? Imagine Leslie's a city girl. JT is a way bad. I don't think it's that JT is better than us. I think it's at this point, I'm like, is JT being held hostage? Like, why would you still be there? I mean, even Kris Jenner was like, listen, Bruce, if you want to go be Caitlyn, go do that. But like, I'm not sticking around for this, and I don't give a crap that we've been married for like 30 years. I'm not going to go be a lesbian just because you suddenly want to be a woman. So, Spirit saying I feel like they've worked on, YG and Saweetie have worked on some music. But this is the thing. When's the last time that YG had a hit? And I don't feel like this is going to be something that really blows up for Saweetie either. I think that, honestly, if they end things before it even gets released, it'll never get released. Because Spirit saying is just kind of one of those things like, yeah, we put together a song, but who's going to put it out? As far as any other business ventures, I feel like they'll talk about like opening a restaurant or something, but then I don't see it ending up happening. Because Spirit's saying this really is just a fling for Saweetie, and because she doesn't see any permanence in this situation, like she doesn't really want to go tie herself to him in any long-term ventures. Like, I don't want to do a song with you and then have to go perform it on every stage that I go on. I don't want to do a business with you and then we break up, but then I still got to deal with you because we're making money together. So, you know, but let's move on to Durk and India. Drop those questions below about Durk and India. Well, I saw that Caitlyn said somewhere, I think maybe it was in her book, that she, like when her and Chris separated, that they had a conversation. And she said she would have still stayed in the marriage with Chris if Chris had accepted her transitioning, but Chris didn't want to. So, and just before we get any farther on the Durk and India stuff, and the same goes for Lil Baby, because I saw it was obviously the same girl tried to first say that Durk was her baby daddy, and then she came back and said Lil Baby was the baby daddy. And then she posted a DNA test in Spanish, but yet used a different font for the names. Obviously, that was completely fake. Neither one of these men are her baby daddy. She's just trying to get attention. So we don't even have to ask any of those questions about that situation because it was just fake. Just wanted to make sure if you guys didn't see that it was fake. Okay, let's see. Well, India just said that her and Durk are not back together. So we'll see what's going on with that. Spirit, please tell me, what can we know about this situation? Relationship with the people who go by Durk and India. Thank you. Okay, the first thing that's coming up is, as I'm even just pulling cards, Spirit saying, by the time that they even got to the point of getting engaged, India was starting to kind of just be over him. Like, I don't feel her being as emotionally connected to Durk as she used to be. Like, a few years back, it's like she would have kept going back to him, going back to him, going back to him, defending him. you know, she really took pride in being the ride or die. She didn't want to be, like, she really thought, like, if I just stick this out because I really love this man, like, he'll grow out of everything that he's got going on, and we'll, you know, he'll settle down and we'll end up happy together. But when somebody's constantly betraying you and you constantly have to keep forgiving them, little by little, you know, over the time, you start to lose that loving feeling. And so Spirit's saying that before, like, when they first said they were broken up, that at first was a PR stunt. And also part of it is that Spirit's saying, because I have to be kind of careful about how I say certain things, obviously, because we're on YouTube. Remember that they had that home invasion. And with the things that have gone on with Young Thug, everybody has been saying, oh, look, the next people that are going to be under investigation or indicted or something is going to be Baby and his crew or Durk and his people. And so there was also a motivation to tell the public that they were not together anymore, to kind of protect India from all the things that were going on because of Durk. We don't want her to get caught up in legal situations. We don't want people coming after her the way that they have, trying to hurt her to get to me. So I'm gonna, you know, tell the world that we split up, and then maybe people will, like, leave her alone and get off my back. But then they actually did end up breaking up. Like, at first it was a stunt, but then it became a real breakup. So when we started seeing him all of a sudden freaking out and being like, no, she's mine. Because remember at first when they first broke up, he was acting like nothing was wrong. It wasn't until recently that he started flipping out, because that's when they really actually did freaking break up. And then he was like, no, we were just playing. What are you doing? You can't actually leave me. That wasn't part of the plan. So he's a mess because he's not sure, because it's like, oh, she seems like she's serious this time. Because she's fake broke up with him a million times trying to get him to act right. But he can just tell, like, this is hella different. So he's losing his shit, and he's so worried that she's going to find some other dude. But she did catch him cheating again. Not with the baby mama girl or anything like that. It was right towards the end when they broke up. And then, you know, while he was publicly trying to get her back, there's all these other women that are still in the picture, and she knows about them. And it's like, do you think people don't tell me? Everybody wants to come and tell me everything that's going on. So stop coming and lying to me and begging me to come back to you, but then you're still out here doing the same dumb shit. He's really going through his tower card moment right now and just wants her to come back more than anything. But he's not going to be faithful. Just like I said about Nelly and Ashante, it's like they have a sickness. Your dick wants to be everywhere except for at home. And he can't keep it to himself. And she's really realizing that and being like, I don't want somebody that can't just behave themselves. Spirit's saying she doesn't want to have any more kids with him. Honestly, Spirit's saying she's not even sure she wants any more kids. But she knows that she doesn't really want to have any more with Durk either. Because there's a part of him or a part of her that believes he's going to end up in prison. And it's like, I already have to reconcile myself with the fact that, you know, I'm probably going to end up having to do the majority of raising the kid. How many kids do they have together? Is it just one? By myself. I don't want to bring more kids into a situation like that. And not to be too dark, but she feels like if he doesn't end up in jail, he has so many ops that there's so many chances that somebody might take him out of here too. So oh, Bree, we're talking about India and Durk. But I just feel like overall, like emotionally, she's just not as into him anymore. It's like Spirit saying she looks at him like he's a man-child. You come with so much baggage. You're so immature. You cheat. You cry. Everything isn't your fault. It's always, oh, my dad wasn't around when I was growing up. That's why I cheat. Oh, my homeboy didn't talk to me yesterday and I thought he was telling my ops about something about me. So that's why I cheated. Like, there's always some reason that doesn't make any damn excuse for you to be out here doing this. And I don't want to keep going through this with you because you don't have any self-control and you might love me, but you don't have respect for me. So, let me see if I didn't answer any of these questions. Spirit saying she's not going to try to even date for a while. She might get sucked back into being with him again for a short period of time, but then they will break up for good. And I don't feel her really wanting to hurry up and date anybody else. And Spirit saying a part of it is too, like, I need to heal from all of this and just be by myself and have some damn peace in my life for once. So I don't want to bring somebody else in that's gonna, you know, cause me drama and heartache and risk all of that right now. And on top of it, I hate to say it, but it's almost like she's gonna be scared to bring somebody else around too, because it's like, if Durk is acting crazy, like, it's not fair to some other poor guy that, you know, Durk might show up and break in the house and try to fight him or cause a scene or act like, you know, how Kanye was with Skeet all over the internet afterwards. Like, I need to make sure that enough time has passed that Durk understands we're not getting back together. Go live your own life. You don't need to make mine hard in order for me to come back to you. And then when I feel like he's out of that space, then I will feel comfortable to try to be with somebody else. And honestly, I keep feeling like we're going to see her with an athlete. Not a basketball player, but I feel like it might be like a football player. Maybe a baseball player. But I do feel like she's going to end up with somebody else that's well known with money. Oh, if we... Listen, this is the thing. It will definitely be old Kanye Skeet situation again, but less funny and less intelligible. Because at least Kanye can spell. Durk, it looks like somebody's cat walked across his keyboard when he posts anything, and you're like, what the hell is TZG mean? And he'd just be on Instagram stories just hitting random buttons and adding the dude, and everybody be like, what the hell is he trying to say? listen, Kanye is another one that it, like when we were talking about 50 Cent and Eminem earlier about them being like king petty and just like underrated for how funny they are. Kanye can be really freaking funny when he wants to drag people sometimes. I mean, the fact that for the entirety of my life, I will never be able to call Pete Davidson, and I will always just, my brain, when I see a picture of him, I'm like, oh, it's Skeet. Because of Kanye. And there are so many other people that I know out there that for the rest of Pete's life, he will be known as Skeet to them. Oh my God, I felt like I was gonna go blind and have a stroke at the same time, trying to understand what the hell Durk was saying when the blogs kept reposting whatever he was putting out. I was like, what is he saying? Like, I don't understand this. And then people in the comments were like, it's Chicago talk. And I was like, but I can understand if it's Chicago talk, but like he didn't even spell any of the words somewhat like the word it's supposed to be to understand it. So yes, Kanye is very funny even when he doesn't try. And he is very petty, and I live for it. Nicki and Kanye both are hilarious. I would love, like, I know it can't happen anytime soon, but I would love to have a Queen Radio with Kanye and Nicki someday. Because just the way that they would drag the industry and expose so much shit together would be incredible. So, and I guarantee you that Kanye regrets that he had to choose Kim over Nicki when it came to the Yeezy collab, because, man, that would have been amazing. So, do you guys have any more India and Durk questions? And then we'll move on to NBA and jazz. Yeah, it was very much gibberish, Sana. That's for sure. And make sure you guys are liking the live, please. It is a free way to support the channel and me. So, I hate to say this, but I really feel like Durk's gonna get caught up in some shit that's gonna take him away for a while. And I think that that is going to precede him having, or cut off the ability for him to have much of a love life for a while when he's, you know, battling for his freedom. So I think that, you know, he'll go and probably run around with, like, you know, random girls for a minute. But I don't think that he's gonna find anybody that he's super, like, in love with or that he wants to be married to. And listen, you guys, I hate to say this, but what we're seeing happen with Young Thug is not the last of any of this. It is just the beginning. And, you know, going back to what Kanye himself had said, if you guys ever caught that interview, because everybody always just wants to take the one clip and claim that this was Kanye admitting that he sacrificed his mom, and not take the whole clip where he immediately said afterwards, my soul is clear, I've never killed anybody, so I can speak. When he said that the industry sacrificed his mom, he did not say I did. And then he said, I didn't kill anybody though, so I can talk. But what he was saying in that conversation was that the industry loves criminals because they can control them, because those people will do whatever they're being told in order to be protected from the things that they have done catching up with them. Why do you guys think that like all of these new rappers are all in gangs and have been for so long? It's not just about the fact that you're gonna rap about your gang shit and influence the young kids that listen to you to want to go be gangsters themselves. It's also about the fact of you're gonna be beholden to us, and if we tell you go put on a dress and get on stage and make out with Leslie, you will do it, because otherwise, if you try to tell us no, then we're going to threaten you, that we're going to let the DA put charges on you and tell them that we have all this evidence of you committing all these RICO acts. So they're easy to control, and then guess what happens? The second that that artist is no longer relevant, starts to stand up for themselves too much, isn't making the label money, then it's like, okay, police, go ahead and get them. We don't need them anymore. And instead of us having to deal with cutting a contract, and then maybe like they have some right to like get some money out of us or whatever, or then become a Tory Lanez who, once they go independent, blows up again, and then they're making all this money on their own because now they can do things themselves. We would rather you go to jail. And then guess what happens with a lot of times too, when these people get out of jail, they have the redemption era, and then everybody goes to listen to their music and supports them. And so if they're still signed to that label, the label benefits, obviously, because now everybody's listening to the music that you put out after you got out. That's why, you know, for Tory, nobody was going to benefit off of him. So it was just throw his ass in jail and do whatever we can to keep him there. So if Durk gets to a point where he's not the big seller that he was, because he was kind of the golden boy for a minute in the industry, he might be the next one that we see in a RICO case. We're going to see this happen to quite a few more artists, and Young Thug is just the first of them to do that. And let me tell you guys something too. Young Thug is definitely going to get the book thrown at him. They're doing everything that they can to get a conviction against that man. Look at how they gave people who were accused of like pretty heinous crimes that normal people would be looking at life for, or at least 30 plus years. And it's like, we'll give you 15 years probation if you just point the finger and say, Thug put me up to this, or somebody close to him was acting off of his orders and told you to do whatever you did. And the thing is too, when they're on 15 years of probation, guess what? At some point, you're going to get a parking ticket. You're going to spit your gum on the sidewalk. You're going to tell some old lady to fuck off or something else. And then they're coming and getting your ass on the probation violation, and they still got you to go to jail anyways. But they got you to tell on everybody in the meantime and got what they wanted out of you. And they'll still get your ass in the end. So it sucks, but that's how this industry does people. So, I mean, look at how many people, and that's why the Weinsteins and the R. Kellys got away with what they did for so long, because they were still important to the industry. And the second that they stopped being important to the industry, and there was a new kid on the block that could do for them what they'd been doing and make them more money, they threw the book at them and turned their back on them and let them finally get justice for all the horrible things that they'd been doing to people. So I just, every time I see anything about the Young Thug trial, I'm always just like, somebody else is going to be next. We're going to be watching this whole thing go down with one of these other groups that, you know, are really a gang, but try to make it like, oh, it's just like our own music group, and that's why we call ourselves this. And on top of it, you know, they encourage them to tell on themselves. Do the Vlad interview, go tell on all your crimes, and then 2 weeks later you have an indictment because you admitted to all this dumb shit you did to Vlad. I mean, Vlad is a cop, if y'all didn't know. He's an undercover fed. He's being put up to it and being given lists of questions by DAs. Ask them about this, ask them about that, and it's on purpose so that they incriminate themselves so then they can go like indict them. So don't trust him. He works with all of them. And Vlad admitted, I forget who he was interviewing because I was listening to it while I was driving, and the guy was talking about how his dad was like a 33-degree Mason, and Vlad admitted that he was a Mason. And if you guys didn't know, the Freemasons are what the Illuminati really are. So, and don't think that people on social media that are YouTubers and whatnot are not also a part of the Illuminati. But if you guys want more information on that, go to patreon.com/psychicbellalove. All of that is in there because I don't talk about that stuff on YouTube because it is really just, you have to censor yourself so much, and it's hard to get the point across and really teach that kind of stuff when you can't outwardly say certain things. So, oh my God, you have to go save a turtle, Lindsay? What happened? Well, go do that, and then you can tell us about the turtle saving when you come back. So, did you guys have any more questions on India and Durk, or are you ready to move on to NBA and Jazz? Is her name Jaslyn or Jasmine? I always like get confused. I swear too, I'm like, I don't know what it is about me, but I always get confused about all of YoungBoy's baby mama's names. Because Nene just had her little girl. And for the life of me, I still do not know how to pronounce her actual name. So I just call her Nene. But her baby's so cute. And I like that name, Iceland. As Jasmine. Okay. I don't know why I thought it was Jaslyn. I like the name Jaslyn, though. I think it's pretty. Oh, Jaslyn. Oh, okay. Yeah, Jaslyn's a really pretty name, actually. I like that name. Is it 11 kids now, you guys? I think that's what I saw. One of the blogs said that he has 11 now because he just had another one, like, what was it, a week or two ago? It was around the same time that Nene had her baby. His ex, or his, well, I mean, she's still his baby mama, I was gonna say, but his ex and baby mama, Nene, had a baby, but with a basketball player, and then he just had another baby with a different baby mama that's not the wife. So, but I have to say, before, you guys can go ahead and put your questions down in the comments. Before, like, the very first time I ever did the reading on him, I was like, I'm never reading on him again because there was so much dark energy around him. Like, people determined to take this man out of this world dark energy, and I was just like, I don't like seeing things like that because it's like, what, I can't do anything to save him, you know? And I have to say, he doesn't have so much of that around him anymore. It's like the energy around him has changed a lot. I know he's no longer on Atlantic, right? And I feel like him changing labels has a bit to do with that. Because that's the other thing, guys. When people pass away, Nobody benefits more than the label that owns your music, because what do we all go do? Start streaming their songs in memoriam. So then all of a sudden somebody's, number one on the Billboard charts with songs that they put out 30 years ago, and it's because, everybody wants to remember them and listen to their music, and it's the label that's benefiting from that. So, okay. I will answer the why does he keep making babies part as simply as I can, and then the rest of it you will have to go to Patreon for. Remember, I've told you guys that people in this industry have no control over their lives, and they are Satan worshipers. Satan has been on a mission throughout the entirety of the history of the world to get as many followers as he can and steal all of God's children from him. And therefore, he, or the people that are in charge of certain people, task them with being the repopulators of the earth. And it's, well, since you are a Satan worshiper yourself, we want you to have 15 babies and raise them all to be Satan worshipers themselves. And because you're talented, there's a great chance that your children will also be talented and end up in this industry as well. So that is what they are ordered to do. And then guess what? When you have 15 mouths to feed, you are going to have to work, and you are then going to be controlled easily too, because it's, don't you have all these kids to feed? Don't you need a job? Do you want to live in a studio apartment just trying to make all this child support, or do you still want to have the mansions and also make sure that your children are being taken care of? You're going to do what you're told. Why do you think Nick Cannon has so many kids? Why do you think Future had so many? There are certain men that are chosen, and this is what they're ordered to do. And he is one of them. So, okay. But as far as Jazz, she knows what the deal is, and so she's okay with it, because she looks at it as, you still chose, like, I'm the one that you chose to marry. So while you may be having all of these kids, I take it as this is what you're required to do for your career. But there's not the love there. It's just about, I chose a bunch of random girls to impregnate, and I'm the one that you married. I'm the one that you say you love. I'm the special one. So I know my place, and I've accepted that, and I'm okay with what comes with that. So, and he loves Jazz because she doesn't give him, I mean, he loves her anyways, but Spirit's saying they do have like a connection. But he also loves the fact that she is so ride or die for him and just willing to go along with everything that he's required to do to make it in this industry. So, listen, after I posted my first video about him, I had somebody call me that dealt with him, that confirmed a lot of things. And it is very purposeful about, okay, this girl is gonna have a boy. Like somebody that does readings on it and tells him, this is the girl that's gonna have a boy, and she's gonna get pregnant on, if you do it in the last week of this month. And so and then they make them do a ritual with him before anything happens to guarantee that that baby is going to be born. Not an IVF ritual, a satanic ritual. And these girls don't even know what they're doing, and they're just like, well, it's NBA YoungBoy, and I really want to bang him. So they just be sitting there participating, not even realizing that they're doing devil worship. So, did he ever really call Yaya his wife, or did she call herself his wife? Because Yaya seems very delusional. Very delusional. So, because it seems like Yaya wanted to be the wife. And maybe, you know, like a lot of guys will be like, oh, this is my wifey about their girlfriend. But then guess what? They break up with that girl and marry somebody else later anyways. And, you know, people just be calling each other like hubby and wifey, like without actually being serious about getting married. And Spirit saying like she took that shit way too freaking serious and was like, I'm going to marry him someday and we're going to be together forever. And I am the wife. And I'm just like, oh my God, Gaia, like your dad is Floyd Mayweather. Like, not that like it's ever okay to act like this or that somebody being a celebrity justifies the false idol worship that people engage in, but you would think that like if somebody was going to act like this, it would be some random girl from the hood who's just like my only chance at holding on or experiencing like this kind of life that comes with being with a celebrity or being a celebrity is being with Kentrell. Like Yaya already like had this life, and she's honestly had probably a way better life than anything that Kentrell could ever provide for her anyways, especially seeing as that he's gonna be so spread thin with all these kids he's having, and her dad is like super mega rich. So that's why I'm just like, why are you so stuck on him like this, girl? And it's not like she couldn't find some other dude that would just want to date her just because her dad's Floyd Mayweather. Right? I mean, well, Reginae was kind of dumb behind YF and Lucci. Like, let's not act like celebrity women, especially when they're young, are immune to being dumb over a guy. Like, we've all done it. And if you haven't yet, you probably will at some point. But then you grow up and you're like, okay, that was stupid and I'm never going to lose myself, you know, because I made somebody else more important. And you realize the error of your ways and you change. So they do be having daddy issues, but the thing is, Yaya's always, like, her dad has always been super involved in her life. I mean, that's the one thing. Same thing with Wayne. I think that Wayne probably spent more time away from his kids because of his career, though. But Floyd's career, like, he can spend most of the year in his house, you know, even when he is training, because it's like, he has gyms and equipment in his house, and then he can, you know, still train in the same town that he lives in and be home every night. And it's like he just has to travel when it's time for the actual fight, if that requires it. But as far as I know, like, Floyd Mayweather and most of these boxers, you know, if they are good people, are pretty active in their kids' lives, and like, I'm home for dinner and homework every night for the most part. So that's why I was like, but I could also see though, because after for a while at least, like after like him and Yaya's mom split up, Floyd did have a moment where he had like kind of a little bit of a harem. And he had like a bunch of different girlfriends. But then they all like just went away, and I just feel like, you know, he sort of got that out of his system. So, and honestly, I feel like even that era of him doing that, I feel like he was trying to kind of show off to people like 50 Cent that kept fucking with him. And to be like, oh, well, look, like I can get all these women. So, like, am I really like whatever you say I am? But then I feel like he just got over it. So, I don't know, maybe just because she saw her dad have like 5 girlfriends at once, like she thought like, oh, well, that's normal for guys to do that. But the being unhinged and obsessed, I'm just like, girl, you've always had your dad in your life. Like, you can't blame it on daddy issues. I think like maybe it's just, I don't know, maybe your dad's sperm got knocked around so much in the ring that you came out a little with the screw loose. So, Spirit said someday she will move on, but she's still gonna be in this space of being obsessed with Kentrell for another few years. Like, it's really gonna take some other guy coming in that she decides to be obsessed about instead for her to move on. And at first it'll be like, well, I'm dating him because this is gonna make Kentrell jealous because he's gonna see me with this other guy. And then she's just gonna become obsessed with the other guy because he's there paying attention to her. So it's just a transference of the delusion and obsessions onto somebody new. So, Spirit saying Jazz is gonna stick around for way longer than anybody thinks she will. Like at least 10 years. I feel like if they break up, it's because he's gonna end it with her. But she's willing to just play her role. And I have to say, I think she's pretty. I know people drag her. I think she's a pretty girl. I think it's just because people have gotten so overly used to seeing the Botox and surgerized faces and bodies that when somebody lives in their normal self and they're in celebrity world or they're on Instagram lands, that they seem so different and out of place because they don't look like every single other person on there, that then people say, oh, well, they're ugly or they're unattractive. No, they're not. They're pretty. It's just because they don't look like everybody else that you're saying that because you got programmed. How did his other baby mamas feel about her? I mean, first and foremost, Spirit saying, you know, Nene doesn't care. She's moved on with her life. She's so happy where she's at. She feels like, you know, that relationship was so incredibly toxic for her that she would never want to like ever go through that again. Is there any other baby mamas that have been around a bit longer or maybe were sort of in a relationship with him? Because I feel like most of them are just kind of like, well, I'm getting a bag out of it. Like they went into it knowing, you know, like I'm gonna get money out of this, and if I'm gonna be a baby mama, it's better to be a baby mama for a celebrity because my kid will be better taken care of, and then I get the clout of saying I'm NBA baby mama, and they think that that'll either, you know, I can capitalize off of that and do like Instagram brand deals, or maybe like I can get somebody else in the industry because of it, or at least like, you know, I will have more money coming in. So it's better for me in the long run. So it's like they knew what it was and they weren't expecting like he's gonna pick me. So they don't really care so much. Yaya hates her and can't stand that she got picked. Spirit saying the first baby mama, she doesn't really care so much. She feels like I wouldn't have put up with everything that's going on. Like, there's no way in how I would have stuck around 11 babies later, so you're a better one than me if you're able to do that. And Spirit saying she likes Nisha, likes Jazz because it's like she's good with my kids. She still messes around with Kentrell, but like I feel like Spirit saying like she's not trying to break up his relationship though. Like part of it's just like if I'm gonna like mess around with somebody, I'd rather mess around with my ex than to catch a new body and risk it with somebody new. And there is a little bit of the like ego thing of like, well, he might have married you, but he still messes with me, but she doesn't have like outward hatred towards her, if that makes sense. Princess. I can't say that out loud because YouTube will ding the hell out of me, but oh, and you guys, if you ever don't see the live immediately after it ends, it's just because YouTube is processing it. I have nothing to do with that. I always leave lives up. I don't take them down. You know, we've been on here for almost 90 minutes, so it's like, why would I spend an hour and a half of my time working and talking to everybody when I could have been eating and watching a movie or doing something else if I'm just gonna sit there and hide it or delete it. So, you know, because sometimes people are always like, where did it go? Did you delete it? I'm like, no, I don't do that. I know some people do, but I think for some people, it's either like they do it as like members only or like they'll clip it into shorts later or something. But I don't have time to be sitting there trying to figure out how to edit anything, much less a couple hours long live right now. Yeah, no, Yaya got arrested when she did that. She just settled her case. She got like probation and a bunch of community service and some fines. I mean, let one of us have done that. We probably would have gotten attempted unaliving charges and had to like spend the rest of our life behind bars. But she got the Carlos community service special. So do you guys have any other questions about NBA's relationships before we move on to Lil Baby and Jada? And then after Baby and Jada, we'll do some Nicki questions and then wrap it up. What did y'all eat for dinner? By the way, I need some ideas because this is the thing. After being sick, I was like hungry, but nothing sounds good to me. So then every time that I want to go eat something, I'm just like, I cannot think of anything to eat. And I desperately need to go grocery shopping, so I'm going to have to like Uber Eats it. Unless I want to eat soup again, and I am so over soup after basically only eating that for a week. So give me some ideas so I can plan what I'm going to have for dinner after this. Because this is the first day where I really feel like, okay, like I could really like actually like eat a whole meal and I'm hungry. So I need to go to the grocery store tomorrow, but I'm just like, by the time I get off of here, I'm not going to go to the grocery store at 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. Not on a Saturday. I'm tired. So I was like, I just want to eat and watch something on TV and play with Whitney and chill. I don't understand that either. Nuggets. Oh my god, I haven't eaten chicken nuggets in probably like 20 years. Maybe I'll get some chicken wings or something. Now, there's a wings place by me. It's not Buffalo Wild Wings, or what is that, the one that Rick Ross owns? Is it Buffalo Wild Wings? I always forget what his is called. It's not that though, but it's a ghost chicken. You know, they have those ghost kitchens that operate out of another restaurant's kitchen. It's a ghost kitchen that operates out of a family-owned Mexican restaurant here, but they make some damn good wings and fries, and actually that kind of sounds good. Wingstop, that's what it is. Yeah, that's what I was like, maybe I'll get some wings. Buffalo wings sound good. You return the turtle to the lake. It was inching towards the street. Oh my god. I'm glad you guys were able to get him into the lake. I'm so scared of reptiles. I'm trying to think, like, I don't know, like, if I would have been able to, like, pick up a turtle and put it back in the water. I don't like rodents or reptiles. Like, every other animal, I'll be like, oh my god, look, it's a bird, it's a dog, it's a rabbit, it's this, it's that. But, like, if it's a snake or a rat, or a lizard or anything like that, like, my ass will be in the next county. I don't really have, like, I just have, like, random ingredients in my house right now. So it's like, I could make potatoes, but I don't have any chicken to make with the potatoes. Like, you know, like, I have, like, stuff to make spaghetti sauce, but somehow, like, I ran out of pasta. Like, so that's why and obviously, like, I didn't go grocery shopping because I was sick. Because I, like, desperately needed to last week. But, like, I just, like, had a bunch of soup delivered and stuff to make soup because that's all we could, like, handle eating, and saltines and ginger ale for most of the week. So that's why I was looking earlier and I was like, I would have to eat the most random assortment of, like, mashed potatoes and some rice on the side, and that does not sound good. So I don't like bugs either, but that's the problem when you're a single parent. You have to be the bug killer in the house. So every time there's a damn bug in the house, it's up to me to kill it. But I have to say, with Whitney, if there is a bug in the house, you will know that there is a bug in the house because Whitney's standing guard over it, ready to attack it or chasing it around. And so and then I don't want her to, like, eat it if she kills it or, like, put her mouth on it. So I'm always, like, running, like, no, leave the earwig alone. Let mommy get a paper towel and get it up. Oh my gosh. Oh, you guys, if you've been looking for the Nicki Minaj perfumes, I did find the Pink Friday body spray at TJ Maxx the other day. I went there for pillows, and as I was walking past the beauty section to go back to the home department to get the pillows, I saw, like, they had a bunch of them. So Usually, if like one store has a bunch of something, other stores do too, because they work on, you know, getting closeouts on stuff and overstocks of things. So they don't usually just only buy stuff and only put it in one store. Usually it gets distributed amongst all of their stores. Listen, I know way too much about TJ Maxx's, how their whole entire company operates, because my ex used to work for them. So. Oh my God, Nikki's wine is at Trader Joe's. I was gonna go there this week to get groceries, actually, because that's where I usually go to get my groceries. So I'll have to get some. I love how her perfume smells, and every time, like up until I just got this one, and I would find like one bottle, and then somebody, like, I would spot it and I'd be like walking real fast to go over and get it, and somebody would always like snatch it before I got to the end cap to get it. So I was so happy that I finally got it. Oh, we don't have Ruby Tuesdays here, babe. But we have Applebee's. Aren't they the same company? Like, if you have Applebee's, you don't have Ruby Tuesdays, but if you have Ruby Tuesdays, you don't have Applebee's, like how like Carl's Jr. is. And if it's not, it's called like what, Hardee's, like in other states. Oh, you're lucky, Lindsay. I swear to God, my stores, they are always sold out. I look every time I go to TJ Maxx, Marshall's, Ross. I mean, I haven't really gone to any of those stores so much this year, but every time I do, I always look for it. So, oh yeah, I've had her mix Moscatos before. You know what's funny is when she came out with it, I worked at child support, and my coworker went to Bevmo and bought like all of them and gave them to all of us girls that he was friends with that worked there, because he was like, I don't know if you like Nicki Minaj, but I brought you this, and even if you don't like her and you like wine, it seems like girls always like Moscato. That was his like explanation when he gave it to us. And because like I had told him that I liked Lil Wayne like the first time I met him, he always used to put energy drinks on my desk and put a post-it that said "Love Wheezy F Baby" on it. So he was like, I knew you would probably like her when he gave it to me. He's like, if you like Lil Wayne, I know you like Nicki. But it was so cute and sweet that he did that for all the girls. And I remember that, but that was like so long ago. My son was like a baby. Yeah, I miss him. He was like the sweetest guy. I liked working there. But let's see. You guys ready to get to Lil Baby, and then we can get to Nicki? So what questions do we have about Jada and Lil Baby? Oh, hi, Mama. Do you want to come say hi to everybody? Come here, baby. Winnie's. Come here, Mama. Come here. Here, come sit on my lap and say hi to everybody. Say hello, YouTube. I don't know. Amazon has the perfume. Yeah, it's just, you know what, with Amazon, it's just annoying because, you know, you have to be like extra careful that things are real, and not that you don't get like a fake or pay 12,000 times more. And so that's why I always just try to, like, if there are certain things and I know I can get it in person, I'll try to find it in person instead. Oh, I know you don't like being held like this. Here. Here, say hi to everybody. Okay, Say bye. Say bye. Mommy's going to put me down because she keeps holding me weird and I don't like that. She lasted longer than I thought she would. That's about as long as she'll sit on my lap anyways, even when we're not on camera. And then she'll get down and then she'll come back 100 million times. And hey, I finally had a whole thing of me wearing my Whitney Houston shirt while holding her. Every time I wear a Whitney shirt, I'm like, I need to take a picture with her. And then that's the day I don't. So I was like, everything's synced up for once. So, oh, that's so cute. Oh my gosh, social, right? Whitney would get so bored and run off anyways. She does not like to stay in one spot for too long when she's awake. She likes to go look out one window, then look out the other one, then go back and look at the first window. She's way too much energy. No, listen, guys, just so you know, the reason why I usually do most of my readings on people in the music industry is I've, in my entire life, never been super into TV and movies. I would have certain TV shows that I would watch here and there growing up, like Sister Sister, or when I go older, The Game. But I'm not somebody especially these days that just really watches TV or movie stuff very much. I never know who any of the actors are these days or what's going on with them. So I don't know, usually what most of these shows are, and I guarantee you, if you ask me if I watch it or have watched it, the answer is probably no. And when I do watch stuff, it's on YouTube, and usually because I'm, to be honest with you, researching something that I'm going to talk about Illuminati related in Patreon, or if people are something happened with these two musicians and they got in a beef, then it's watching the Impressive channel and her explaining why these two people got in a fight so I can do a reading on it. So I don't really keep up with that kind of stuff too much, but music I'm constantly listening to. And when I was younger, I would just sit in my room and listen to music and draw or write all the time growing up. So I never really got into TV even back then. So let me see. So make sure you guys put question in the front of your questions so they don't get lost. Okay, this is the thing that Spirit's saying as far as Jada and Baby's dynamic just in general. It's they're at a place in their relationship where it's we're not together officially, but we still deal with each other because we have a kid together. From her end of things, it's I still want to have that connection. So if he decides that he wants to come back home, he knows the door is open, but also I don't want, I would rather sleep with him than go sleep with some new guy and then have him not want to come be with me because I slept with some dude. And a Baby, he's just gonna do whatever the hell he does, but at the same time, he's selfishly gonna want to keep Jada around and not want her to move on, so that he knows that he can still have her there whenever he wants her to be. So, which there's so many guys that do stuff like that they're so damn selfish, where it's you're not going to give that woman what she wants, but you're still going to try to keep your foot in the door so she can't move on because you think that if the grass stops being greener outside, that you still want to know that you can go back home and she's still going to let you in when you do. And it's like, but if you're not going to sit there and like stop playing in this girl's face and step up and do whatever the hell that, you know, she needs you to do so y'all can be solid, stop playing with her and move on then. And let her be single and let her heal and let her go find somebody that can give her what she wants, like Sierra did with Russell Wilson. You know, and not that Sierra and Russell Wilson are like, I don't believe in the whole couple goals thing. I just think that they're a good example of somebody that decided they wanted better for themselves, worked on their healing, and found somebody that was in alignment with who they were and what they wanted from life and could give them what they were looking for. Because it's obvious that Future is one of those same kinds of guys. So, well, the same way that I said, I don't know how JT can get wet in the panties and be like, yes, Leslie, let's go to bed. Is that how Baby keeps getting Jada? He's like, hey. She's like, okay. Him and them damn hey hands will always like, hey. I'm sorry, but how can you find somebody attractive after that? I'm the worst because I could think you're so cute and then you do like one corny thing and I'm just like, I take it back. I don't like you anymore. And so it's just like, I could have thought Dominique was the hottest, best thing in the entire world. And the second that those hey hands popped out, I would have been like, nope, no more, we're done. But I'm sorry, he looks special to me. I don't find him attractive. I think that he's entertaining, but I do not find him attractive. Oh my God, I wonder if that's what the other thing. I feel like Leslie probably walks around the house with her hair in rollers and a bonnet on, wearing a grandma nightgown and with cold cream all over her face. There's plenty of dudes though that have the D, okay? Like, it's not like people act like, oh my God, like guys with like good D or big D's are hard to come by. They're really not. They are really not. There is a plethora of men out there hanging low. Like, you don't gotta settle for a cheater or a cornball if that's what you're into. And on the other side of that, the way that people be acting on social media, unless y'all got the Holland Tunnel between your legs, stop fucking lying and acting like everybody's taking a thick ass 10 inches every single time. Because I'm just like, do y'all not have cervixes? There is such a thing as too much. Stop playing out here. So, well, that's the thing that I said. I was like, Kenny Petty must got some good D too, because Redbone was obsessed with him. Janitor was. Nicki obviously seems very happy. So It's like all of Kenny's exes and his current wife all seem to have, you know, been obsessed with what that man's got going on. So let's not count Kenny Petty out either. But it's just like, it's just, people need to stop it and be realistic, okay? Camry Spirit saying she wants to, but she wants them to be in a better place in their relationship before it comes to that. But I know that she admitted that she's been like dealing with him and like hanging out with him more, because like I just saw it on, I think it was Your Faves Before IG posted like some story where people were asking her like, oh, are you all back dealing with each other? And she said, yeah, or something like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see that happen soon. And also, guys, he is not dating a Kardashian. Mike Rubin was at that lunch that Baby was at. If you guys didn't know what's actually happening in that situation is, they're moving Meek out of the way and shifting Baby into his position when it comes to the celebrities that are working on the prison reform stuff. So he was there because Kim and Chloe and him and Mike Rubin had all gone to go visit a prison, and then they went to celebrate, I think it was Mike's lunch, our birthday lunch after that. And so that's why Baby was there. He's not dating Chloe. Chloe's back with Trash Can for the 180 million gazillionth time. So, and as I predicted, because people are saying that Trash Can and his little brother are living with Chloe, and Chloe's helping him with the brother since the mom passed away. And I told you guys that would be her excuse to bring Tristan back around again. So, and to keep him close. Mark Rubin or Mike Rubin, whatever his name is. It's something Rubin. But I think it's Mike Rubin. I think that's what his name is, because they always say it like in songs. But yeah, so that's what it was about. Baby is taking over for Meek, because let's face it. Number one, Meek is way too up Jay's ass when it comes to all of that. And we know that Jay-Z does not want to deal with the Kardashians. And number two, Meek isn't really like popular enough for people to take him seriously and to get all riled up and want to, you know, like if Meek is like, oh, I want you guys to write to your senators and say this, nobody's going to freaking do it. Nobody's going to take it seriously. Whereas if Lil Baby tells his audience that he wants them to all write to their senators about prison reform, people would actually probably take it serious, and there's more chance that they would do it. So that was just about getting rid of Meek and replacing him with Baby. But he's not dating any of the Kar-Jenners. So, hey, listen, I've seen pictures of Tori, and I've seen that thing poking. Sometimes them little ones will surprise you and actually be the ones that be hanging low, and it's the big ones that are the surprise and are not. And the thing is that, what do you call, I mean, obviously, Megan, Tori, and Kylie were all fighting over him. So as much as people want to drag him about his height or his hairline, he had two of the most popular women in the industry at that time, both willing to risk it all for him. So that's got to say something about Tori, right? dude, I know. I was like, just because Lil Baby went out to lunch with you guys, nobody's gonna watch the next season of the K-Clan. Nice try, Kris Jenner. So, listen, Lil Baby, as far as how he feels about his first baby mama, and let me say this, she is, even though to the rest of us from the outside looking in, it's kind of like, okay, that girl kind of seems weird, and it doesn't look or seem like he gives too much of an F about her. For whatever reason, Jayda feels like she needs to compete with that girl and hold her spot. And so she will hold on to baby, trying to prove a point to that girl. Like, he's mine. He's not with you. I'm the one he chose. Screw you. Ha ha. So it's something. I don't understand women that want to compete with each other over a man. But as far as how he feels about her, Spirit's saying, has he hooked up with her again? Yes, because he's a guy. He was horny. She was willing to do it. It's like, I went to pick up the kid or drop him off, and she was willing to hook up with me, and me and Jayda weren't doing well at the time, or I just felt like being a dog, and so I did it. But Spirit's saying he doesn't like when she does all the attention getting shit connected to him, where she tries to act like, oh, he wants to be with me, or that we're still messing around, or that she's, you know, sort of banking off of her connection to him to do interviews. And he wishes that she would stop, but at the same time, I don't feel like he's gonna say anything to her about this interview that she did, because she didn't say anything like we're together. She was making it seem like she's moved on with her life. So it's like, it's not worth opening up the can of worms and the drama that would come from it to tell her, don't do that. And Spirit's also saying he wants her to find ways to make herself more financially stable and not rely on him. Because he does feel like now she's starting to kind of get her own influencer situation and bag going. And it's like, okay, that's good, because now you can help take care of our kid more, and I do want you to do well financially. But he also feels like she makes herself look dumb, so, and he kind of feels like, okay, nobody takes you all that serious when you do this stuff, and you just kind of look like Boo Boo the Fool. So I just kind of let it go. Spirit's saying it's more like he gets annoyed because sometimes he feels like he has to answer to Jayda about things that Aisha does or says, and it's sort of like, dude, yes, I know I hooked up with her before, but I didn't hook up with her last Tuesday. She's just clout chasing again. Like, get off my ass. Like, that's what annoys him. So, oh, yeah. Kris Jenner. They really, I swear to God, just wait. The antics will be through the roof with them trying to get people to watch this next season, because nobody gives a fuck. So, did we have any more questions about them, or are you guys ready to move on to Nicki? Because I gotta get off of here and eat at some point. K. Michelle and Justin Bieber. I'm sorry, I can't even imagine the two of them together. Isn't she, like, how old is K. Michelle? Isn't she like 40? I thought she was like the same age as me. Like, I can't imagine myself dating somebody Justin Bieber's age. I would feel like you're like my little brother or something. Okay, let's move on to Nicki then, guys. Drop your Nicki questions and I'll give you 20 minutes of it and then we'll get off of here. I could see K. Michelle and Justin Bieber making a song together though. But I can't see them as a couple together. That's such an odd pairing. I'm just sitting here like, how would that even happen and what would that look like? Because if he tried to do some of the dumb shit to her that he's done to like Haley, like get out of the car and slam the door in her face, like K. Michelle would have dragged him up and down that damn street behind the car to teach his ass a lesson. So I'm like, she would probably like beat the crap out of him and constantly be like disciplining him like he was her child. Justin, don't you dare talk to me that way. Like constantly like checking his ass. So, okay, let's see. Will you ever marry Nicki in real life? I'm sorry to tell you, Kel, I do not think that's going to happen. I think she's pretty happy with Kenny. Oh my gosh, Sana. What time is it where you're at, Sana? Yes, Social, he's married to Haley Bieber. Will Nicki headline Coachella or are there talks of her doing so? Spirit saying those are rumors from the barbs right now, but there's no serious talks in the industry of it at this time. I don't feel like Nicki would really care to headline Coachella either. Spirit saying if she was gonna headline any festival, she would much rather do Rolling Loud because she feels like that's number one, more her like vibe, and number two, then it's in places that she feels more connected to, like New York or Miami. And Spirit saying because they sabotaged her so much when she went on stage with Ariana there. There's something about, it's like the same way that like, you know, she doesn't trust the Grammy board. She doesn't trust the people that organize Coachella. So, Marie, Jay-Z has been one of the people that's been involved in sabotaging Nicki and blackballing her. So, he's a snake. He will smile in your face and do shit to you behind your back. Because at the end of the day, Jay wants him and his wife to be the number one people in the industry. He wants to go down as the number one rapper of all time, and for her to go down as the number one performer and singer of all time. So anybody that gets too good, Jay will make sure that they endure enough things to kind of smear their reputation or hold them back from reaching that status. He'll go after Drake too if he feels like he comes too close to him or anybody else. Leah, we talked about that on some of the questions you guys are asking are questions that I've answered recently, so I'm not going to do those ones since I've already answered them, because I did do a live two or 3 weeks ago that was solely for Nicki, so you can go back to that one because we talked about her doing acting. Spirit is saying Nicki will have Ice Spice go on her tour when she puts out her next album. She'll have her open for her on some of her dates. I do not understand why. Okay, just real quick side note about this whole versus with Lil Kim. If Lil Kim is gonna do a versus with anybody, it needs to be against somebody from her era, like a Foxy Brown. That is expecting Nicki and Lil Kim to do verses against each other is like expecting Lil Baby to go against Lil Wayne. They're two completely different generations, eras. Even, yeah, both of you rap, but even the music is different. And Nicki has a bazillion more hits than Lil Kim. They might have the same amount of studio albums, but Nicki's had way more like singles. She's had way more features. She has had more sales and streams and all of that. And if you're even gonna compare, Lil Kim's last album sold 1,000 of them. The album before that, she sold it on eBay. So, yes, she may have 5 studio albums, but like, do the last 2 ones really count as something that could go up against any album that Nicki has put out? And I know everybody wants to talk tough online, but Lil Kim obviously does not have the same amount of fans that Nicki has. And the thing is, Foxy shades Kim constantly and she never responds to it. Instead, she goes and throws shade at Nicki. Why is she scared to respond to Foxy, and why is she scared to go up against Foxy? And I think that this is the thing. A versus with Kim will only benefit Kim, because look at what happens whenever people do the verses. Like, look at Monica and Brandy, right? When they did their verses, both of their albums, the streams went way up and they actually started charting again, you know, from songs from 20 years ago. Kim wants to do this against Nicki because she knows everybody is going to tune in, and then there's a good chance people are going to go and stream her music again after that. And then she will benefit from the sales and the streams. And that's why she wants to do it. Not because it's actually an equal match. She's going to get embarrassed. She's not going to win the verses. She's going to have the chat filled with people dragging her, making fun of her. Like, let's be honest, you know how the Barbs are. They're going to bully the fuck out of the 5 fans of hers that show up and drag her for filth. And it's like, I don't think Kim is thinking, she's only thinking about monetarily, this will give me some attention and some money in my pocket, but she's not thinking about, this is going to destroy your ego and not be good for you. Go do it with somebody that you can do it out of love with, because remember when DMX and Snoop did theirs together? That was like the best verses, because they were freaking singing along with each other's songs, praying together, hugging each other, freaking complimenting each other the whole entire time. Like, she needs to find somebody that she can do that with, where it's like a love fest, than it to be based off of hatred. Because she's not going to win this battle, and she's going to come out looking stupid as shit. And her and Nicki and Kim have not made up behind the scenes. Nicki just kind of thinks that this is kind of a joke. Like, okay, if you really want to do this, like, I will do it, but be prepared to get really fucking embarrassed. So, you know, that's where that's at right now with it. What happened to her press-on nail company that she talked about starting? It's still coming. I mean, you know, I wish like people wouldn't talk about how they're going to start a company, because it takes so long for these things to come out. It really takes the good, on the fast and easy side, 2 years, because they have to trademark things. They have to find manufacturers. They have to go through and decide what are the initial designs that we're going to release and how are we going to market this. And so, you know, I wish that celebrities sometimes wouldn't say anything about anything they're working on until it's coming out, because then, you know, it makes it seem like, oh, it's never going to happen, when it's just logistically, it's going to take a few more years for it to happen. I feel like Nicki has been and will be in the same room as both Carlos and Megan. Probably at the Met Gala, if not like an upcoming awards show type of a thing. But Spirit is saying security will do everything that they can to keep them separated, because especially if it is like a Met Gala or anything like that, the last thing that they want is Carlos throwing another shoe at Nicki to cause a scene. So everybody is going to be on super high alert and try to make sure that there is no opportunity for either one of them to cross paths with the other for there to even be any issues. Like, okay, keep her in the hallway. The other one's going to walk in, and as soon as she goes down to her seat, then you can bring her in. Like, we don't want them to like bump into each other. Let's see. What do you mean by an executive position, Kel? Because I'm kind of confused by that question. Sammy, no. If you guys didn't realize it, Nicki's still actually kind of blackballed. If she wasn't, they wouldn't have pulled the shit that they did with her at the Grammys. It's like, on the one hand, we've sort of given you your flowers, but that's only begrudgingly, because all of these girls in the industry so desperately like love you, and like you still have fans and survived the hate train. But there are still people in high up positions who are stubborn and don't want to admit that they fucked up, or that they should have done more, or whatever the case may be, who are still going to hold it against her, even if there's no reason to anymore, just because it's like, then I have to admit that I was wrong. So she's still slightly blackballed, so I do not see them making her any kind of a gatekeeper, or trying to really fully make amends with her. Lotto will try to make up with Nicki, but I feel Nicki kind of being like, thanks for the apology, don't talk about me anymore, and like just kind of like moving on. Like, it's not gonna be like when her and JT made up and then she still put JT on the, you know, remix that she did, that she lit her on. It's just more like, okay, like, I won't drag you, but we're not gonna work together. You ruined that. Like, I don't, you know, I'll forgive you, but that's all you're getting from me. Exactly. And you guys, you know what? When you think about it too, when it comes to Nicki doing a versus with anybody, literally the only person that she would be able to do a versus with that would make sense would be Drake. They both came out around the same time. They've both had, you know, very similar career trajectories. He's really like her only contemporary that came out at the same time as her, became as successful as she was, and continues to be successful at this point in the game, and has, you know, enough hits so that he could go up against her too. But that's really it. There is no females that were from her genre and her era, and there's really, she would have to go like really to somebody way older, and the older women in rap don't have the catalog that she does. So that would be the only person that she could ever do that with. And let's be honest, the people that do verses, they're kind of washed up at this point in their career. They're not packing stadiums. They're not selling out tours. Or if they are, it's like ladies' night in Atlanta at some smaller venue with 15 other people performing at the same time. So Nicki's not at that place in her career where she would need to do a versus anyways. It's like the retirement comeback club. She's not there. So let's see. I'll take questions for 2 more minutes, guys, and then we'll end it and wrap it up. The barbs are brutal. You guys, I have to say this too. The barbs really be freaking everywhere. I saw a video and I sent it to some people. It was a video that it was a cat doing tricks, and basically like the concept of the video was my family drove for hours to come see our newborn baby just to sit and watch the cat perform all these tricks and get treats. And somebody wrote in the comments, well, that's because the baby turned out to be a dud. So the cat was like, I guess I got to entertain all of you. And then somebody commented after that and said, the cat is Nicki and the baby's all the new girls, because in the video the baby's just laying there, and even the guy that was holding the baby, because it was a newborn baby, even the guy that was holding the baby was like this, watching the cat freaking spin in a circle to get a cat treat. And I was like, the freaking barbs are everywhere, and look at her impact. People are calling newborn babies duds. And there was all these barbs that wandered onto the comments and started responding about like, oh, look, the baby's like Lotto when she released her diss track. And then somebody said the baby tried to put it on the floor. And I was just like, man, see, this is why I love the barbs, because you guys are fucking just everywhere. And we'll make everything about Nicki, even when it's a cat and a baby video. So, well, you know what? If Kim doesn't want to go against Foxy, why doesn't she go against Lauryn Hill then? I mean, Missy Elliott would bury Kim. So, hi, Olo. Sorry I missed that you came in, babe. I don't feel like Nicki wants to do a wig line, because I think that Nicki, Spirit's saying she's thought about it, but she feels like she doesn't have the time and the energy and everything that goes into creating a wig line and maintaining that type of a business right now, because she has so much else going on. And also Spirit is saying that she feels like if anybody was gonna make a wig line, it would make more sense at this point for Tay to do it, and then Nicki to wear the wigs that he's selling and be like, oh, I'll help you out in the advertising of that or invest in it for you. But like, for me to be the one to start that, like, doesn't feel like it makes sense right now. So yeah, I just don't feel like Nicki needs to bother doing a versus. Dude, have you guys not realized that Sis is just a weirdo and she moves weird? I mean, this is the girl that's like, I hate the industry. I only want to put out one more album and I'm done. And I don't ever want to play the industry games or compete with the industry. And then wants to play the industry games and get #1 with Kill Bill. And then I heard that she did some interview where they asked her about like, oh, well, now that you put out this album, are you retiring like you said? And she tried to take it back. And so SZA's just always gave me like disingenuine vibes. Like, I try to portray myself one way, but that's not at all who I am behind the scenes. You know, she reminds me of Taylor Swift, where Taylor Swift loves to play victim and like, I'm not a super industry person and the industry just messes with me and I'm so nice, but then you backstab all your friends, write songs about all of your exes, do everything that you can, including payola to chart, and release 1,585 remixes of every song that you put out so you can get number ones. And it's like, this is the same way to me. Like, I'm just not who I pretend to be. And I don't know, she is just weird, and I feel like she's jealous of Nicki because Nicki's number one makes her triggered because Nicki's just who Nicki is unapologetically, and that bothers people who are fake. And number two, it's like, oh, well, how dare you have released your song the week that I'm trying to get my number one? Like, Nicki personally did it to fuck with SZA, rather than Nicki's just minding her own freaking business and working, and she doesn't care who's releasing at the same time as her. She's just trying to do what she's doing. I don't think that Summer Walker ever had a real falling out with Nicki. I think it's just that Summer Walker was kind of falling into that let me be a shady girl shit, but then because she kept getting called out on it, now she's trying to backtrack and act like she's cool with Nicki because she doesn't want the Barbs to come and like destroy her life. Let's be honest, how many times have you seen people do that too? You know that they're shading Nicki because they're trying to impress their little dumbass friends, and then once they get scared because they're like, oh, the Barbs figured out what I was up to, then all of a sudden it's like, let me throw up some Nicki quotes on my page real quick so that way it looks like I'm not shading her and we're cool because I don't want to get eaten alive by the Barbs. So, and I'm not taking any more questions, guys. I'm just going through the ones that are up here. Because I'm gonna get off of here in a second. Reminder, if you want to know anything more about the Illuminati, you can join us on patreon.com/psychicbellalove. That is also the only place that I take requests for celebrity video readings. If you want to book your own personal psychic reading, you can go to psychicbellalove.com, and there is a pinned comment with the May special discounted appointments. There is $35 15-minute readings, $45 20-minute readings, and $55 30-minute readings. Those are very deeply discounted. So if you want one, book now because I do have limited space for May and I will book up. So let's see. You like Taylor? Ugh. I don't like Taylor. She gets on my nerves. You guys, I don't think you can blame it on people being, Taylor being a Sagittarius or SZA being an Aquarius rising. Fake people are going to be fake people regardless of whatever sign they are. Here. You want to say hi? They can kind of see the top of your head. Here. Do Simba. Say, I am a Simba. She's getting antsy. She's like, Mommy, come sit with me and play with me and hang out with me. So, anyways, guys, that is it on the questions. So, well, listen, listen, I know and I understand why certain not fans, but certain people in the industry try so hard to go get the Barbs to become their fans. because the Barbs are a really, really, really good fan base. I mean, the buying power that y'all have, like other people's fan bases will stream stuff, you know, but they're not actually going into their wallets and spending their hard-earned money to support their artists. They're not doing all of these other things that the Barbs do to make sure that Nicki's constantly being supported. So I get why they would want the Barbs support and why they would be terrified to have the Barbs against them. Because the Barbs will also ruin you and your career and your life. So they are definitely undefeated. But that's why we say I got so lucky that the Barbs decided to like me and support me. And I love you guys for that. No, I don't read about any of the K-pop bands. I have done readings on them in Patreon, but I will not publicly on YouTube. And listen, there are certain fan bases that I do not want on my channel because they don't listen. Even when you say I don't take requests, or I don't do this, or I don't do that, and then they'll harass you and harass people in your comments and not be open-minded and be difficult. So there's just certain people that I won't read on because I don't want that energy on my channel. So don't be surprised if you don't see me talk about Selena Gomez again, because her fans are fucking nuts. And they don't listen. So, which I just have to say this for that. The way that they come and try to bully and attack everybody, even if people are just like, I don't understand, like, why everybody hates Hailey Bieber. And they'll be like, well, you're ugly and you're stupid and you don't understand anything just because the person asked a question about it. And it's like, if you're gonna stan Selena Gomez, isn't she always constantly like telling people kind words matter, don't bully? And she's like Miss Anti-Bullying and talks about how that's like negatively affected her mental health, and is constantly saying like don't go attack people. And they do not listen at all. And they just go around bullying and attacking people. So it's like, how do you stand somebody so bad and you do the complete opposite of what they're always begging you not to do and preaching against? That's what I just don't understand. So yeah, Deuce and DeMarcus, Mom, sorry about that. Sana accidentally hid you. I was like, it's not alive if Sana doesn't slip and hide somebody by accident. They are so mean. I know, it's crazy. Like, this is the thing. I could give two F's what anybody has to say about me or their opinion of me, to be honest with you, unless you're my child, because I'm just like, whatever, like, I'm gonna turn the computer off and like never deal with you again, so why do I care what you think about me? But, and I'm secure in who I am, but I will block people that bring negativity, or that's because I know, like, a lot of times if somebody starts just saying dumb shit to me, then one of my followers is going to want to, you know, defend me, and then they end up getting in an argument. Or because those people will go hide in responses and argue with my followers, and I will not allow people to be mean to the people who follow me. So I will always, as soon as I see somebody saying horrible things to you guys or being rude to you guys, I will always immediately block them. So I do not like any of that. But anyways, guys, I am going to go eat. I love you all. If you want to know if I'm going to read on somebody or you want me to read on somebody, guys, join the Patreon. Patreon.com/psychicbellalove. If you want to book your own personal private reading, psychicbellalove.com. You can join me at Instagram.com/psychicbellalove. Make sure it's me. I'm the one that has over 160,000 followers, not these fake pages. I do not do readings anywhere else except for appointment only through the website. If anybody ever randomly messages you offering you a reading, they're a scammer, run like hell. I hope everybody has a good rest of their weekends, and I will see everybody on Monday. Bye, guys.